quick commerce space. We discussed this actually with Abneesh when Dabur made that comment, and now we've got a whole slate of additional voices from the FMCG space exactly indicating the same. Abneesh, morning. Good to have you back on. Now, what do you make of it? Everyone from Tata Consumer to Nestle to Lever, everyone's acknowledging there is a slowdown, and it's more pronounced in urban India. Your thoughts? And the critical question is this transitory passing one quarter, or is this something more serious building up?
Sure. Thanks. Yesterday, we had three results. So, Pidilite, decent results, 13% EBITDA growth, overall 8% volume growth, 6% in the consumer bazaar. Weak numbers from United Spirits. So, we expect United Spirits stock to correct in the near term. And HUL more or less in line, slight miss in volume, but broader numbers in line. Coming to a question, what we are seeing, no, it is not a doomsday scenario. When the results of Colgate, Britannia, Bikaji, even Marico or GCPL will come, you will see that there the volume growth is more like 5% to maybe even high single digit. Here what's happening is the urban focus, clearly there's a slowdown. We had pointed in our preview around 3-4 weeks back that because of very high food inflation, urban focused companies are facing the slowdown more. That's why if you see United Spirits, clearly P&A 3% kind of volume decline. I think after many years, many quarters, we are seeing a decline in the P&A of United Spirits. Clearly, that's an urban-focused play. Similarly, Nestle, if you see 1.5% volume decline, again, Nestle is almost 75-78% urban. So coming to Unilever, if you see parts of the portfolio has seen 5% to 9% even volume growth. So if you see the key problem categories for Unilever, where tea and Tata Consumer also saw exactly the same thing. These are mass consumption, right? So if there is a food inflation, the customer at the lower and mid end is cutting down on definitely tea and soaps, etc. And that's where Unilever saw volume dip. And Horlicks, there was a volume dip. But if you see home care, detergent, liquid detergent, even in terms of the skin cleansing and oral care, HUL has seen 5% to high single digit kind of volume growth. So it's not across all categories. Currently, will be more positive on Marico, Bikaji, Britannia, Colgate, etc. If you see even HUL in oral care has seen high single digit kind of growth. So it is not FMCG that everywhere there's a slowdown, but urban and clearly where beverage was there the impact has been higher till now. Yes.
Yesterday I was talking to an investor and he was exasperated. He said, well, monsoons have been good. And he said, well, I'm in Bangalore and it's still raining here. So, is it... so are we really sure about a slowdown, a big consumer slowdown? We'll have to find out, we'll have to wait. But of course, you're saying it's not a widespread thing, it's more urban than rural. Abneesh, so how do you, when you say rural and urban, what's the share now and how does one define? Because it's, that number, those numbers will also change, right? Across the board for companies?
Yes, so HUL, Colgate, etc. are on the higher side, more like 35-40%. Rural exposure, while Nestle, which is currently facing the brunt of the slowdown, that has just 22-23% rural. So Imami, for example, somewhere we are positive. We do expect that in second half, Imami should be back to 7-8% kind of growth. So Imami again has high exposure. So Imami, Colgate, HUL, even Britannia, if you see, although they do have urban being high, but they are doing very good work in the Hindi states where in the rural, they are seeing faster growth. So even GCPL, Marico, etc. will be broadly in the 30-32% range. So yes, 30 to 40% is the broad range. Nestle is one of the outliers, and that's why it is facing more pain.
Okay, all right. Abneesh, I think you said you're reasonably positive on Bikaji, I think so, as well as Marico. I think both those two stocks you like. Anything else that you like from the FMCG pack?
Yes, we like Colgate, we like Britannia. I think most of these companies' results are not yet out. So we will see that Colgate and Britannia, our sense is around 8-9% kind of volume growth. For 8% for Colgate and 9-10% for Britannia is possible. Because we expect double-digit volume growth. Today, ITC results are there, but nothing very strong results we expect. We expect around 2.5% volume growth in cigarette and 6-7% in the FMCG. So currently more of dividend yield for ITC. We also need to see what BAT does on the balance stake in ITC. Of course, they already said that in the hotel business of ITC, which will say list in Q4, they would plan to exit at some stage. So currently ITC is more of a dividend yield, but not a very strong growth for us.
Okay, so keep the faith. It's not a doomsday scenario. This is far more granular and probably impacting some of the urban plays more where inflation is biting. Got it, Abneesh? I think that's important to keep in mind. By the way, on margins and also from a stock positioning point of view, we've discussed a lot about the earnings. Just from a positioning and valuation point of view, what would be your topic? You named quite a few plays in terms of better growth. Valuation, positioning, best one or two FMCG stocks to own?
Yes, so I think HUL, most of the negatives are priced in. You did say that the stock has already corrected, so I think the positioning has happened. And ice cream business, if you see, although structurally long term, we are not very convinced on why HUL should exit this. But a lot of the minority investors will get either a special dividend. We expect almost 15,000 crore kind of valuation easily for this business. It will lead to very high interest if this gets sold. Second option could be that it gets demerged and it gets listed separately. Both the options are open. I think in both cases, minority investors will see value unlock or a special dividend. So HUL is looking good. Maybe 1% correction in the near term, but second half, clearly price growth will also come back. So valuation comfort is there in HUL. Valuation comfort is also there in Imami and ITC. So those are the two companies where valuation comfort, reasonable growth. But in terms of high growth, I think Bikaji, Britannia, Colgate, etc. will be on the higher growth rate.
Okay, all right. Thanks a lot, Abneesh, for joining in. Wishing you a good day ahead. And thanks a lot for giving us your view on the sector as well as the individual stocks. Well, it's